All right, welcome back to another episode of the Harold Katz Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4. Oren Glickman alongside Akiva Poppers, and of course the legend himself, Coach Katz. Coach, great to be back on the air with you. How are you doing?
Thank God, a little cold in Jerusalem today. Yeah, I know it's not New Jersey, but windy as all get out, and it's a tough day today out here, and last night. But thank God. It's a problem I love having.
Yeah.
Cold in
So a lot to
Jerusalem.
dissect with you today, Coach. I think the last time we had our show, the Macs were riding a lot of misfortune, but they're coming off a big time win last night against Maritime. Obviously, it was late in the night for you. Were you able to get up early in the morning and catch some of that game?
I did watch the game. I watched it without knowing the score at probably 7 in the morning. So I didn't get it live, but it didn't matter. I ignored my WhatsApp until I watched the game. And I want to say I guess I am surprised because this team has had a tendency to play down to competition. And I would say 3 out of the last 4 games, the Farmingdale game notwithstanding, offensively, they've sort of taken it to a whole different level right here. I think there's a few reasons why. One, ball stoppers aren't stopping the ball as much. I don't know if everybody knows who the ball stopper is, but when the ball's moving, it's going to one more, and you're forcing long closeouts, and we're doing a really good job of, people don't know this, but we're doing a really good job of catching the back cut off a back screen. I don't want to exactly say how we do it, but we're doing a great job of doing that. That is on purpose. And that's something that we work hard on. Let's just say we as a team, but I'm just saying that's something in this offense as it's evolved that we work really hard on to make that a thing. We are getting isolation, in particular off strong side corner. There's no help, so you're essentially isolated on penetration on that side. Doesn't always happen that way. I want to say Or got one a week ago, but that might have been off for a rebound. He also got another one off the perimeter. I think Zevi or Effie got one last night. I think it was Zevi got one last night, a perimeter.
Yeah, Zevi.
And then Max had his block because he wasn't patient enough to let the paint clear. And so that's why Max got his penetration block. It was good penetration. It was just, he didn't wait. To be quick, you have to wait sometimes. And so Max was just in a hurry, and that way that got rejected. But he's done a great job of it. We've really made a thing of post play. I think Luke, Yoav, and now last night have even was a great play last night where Jonathan Levy set a back screen. His guy was fighting that back screen, and John just sealed him for a layup. I think it was a great look by Luke for a layup. It's just kind of the way we draw it up, and we're getting a lot more of that because we're going in the post, because we're screening and hitting people, in particular Zevi's efforts, Orr's efforts, Yoav screening. Max has always been a good screener. But that, like, Max hit a couple back screens. I think we got Zevi early off of Max back screen. We might have missed the layup and Zevi got the rebound, but I think that was what happened. That's what happened. Something like that. But we're getting a lot of the back screen, and the coach obviously was very.
I think it was a Zevi back screen which he slipped. He got the switch.
The layup and got the rebound. I mean.
Yeah, then he got his own rebound. Yeah.
But Max has enabled quite a few guys to take advantage of that, and then the coach was quite demonstrative with his players after giving up a ton of back cuts off back screens. So like you're either going to switch it or you're not. You know what I mean? And they don't
Right.
really. I think every team is struggling right now against this offense because the offense is kind of starting to execute at being patient enough, and guys are trusting each other to set the screens. Guys are trusting each other to cut on time, and be patient. There are a couple guys who kind of drag this offense a little bit sometimes, but if you can take the ball stopping away and snap it and move it and read the floor and read your defender, and we're really doing a great job of slipping screens. So, it's pick your poison, and I think that's the great versatility, or I know I'm not even looking at the screen today. Great versatility, or accordion like when you run this thing correct. I mean, this is the best, I think. As much as I was giving these guys grief a month ago, this is the best this offense has looked in 5 years.
Mhm.
And I no fear of contradiction. That doesn't include Zevi just pulling unconscious jumpers. You know, Zevi's been running this. I think he's playing his best basketball of his life right now. He even was a little better defensively yesterday, which is good because he's working at it. And offensively, I was I was actually, whenever he makes a shot, like some of the ones he made last night, I always watch the defender. He was just kind of like, what am I supposed to do? Well, nothing. It's 30 feet away. He's pulling with 2 seconds on the shot clock, and defender's like turns to his coach. I mean, what's the coach going to say? So it's nice to have a guy like that, but we get him shots, or he gets himself shots in the offense because he understands what's going on and how to do it. So from a defensive standpoint, we still have work to do, I think, although we are getting a little better. But from competition is going to get tougher because you got to play playoff teams. The truth is, Pop, you tell me if I'm wrong. Sarah Lawrence got beat last night, right? Farmingdale.
That's right. So now you got Sarah Lawrence and YU 9-2, and then Farmingdale and Maritime are 9-2.
But so if Farmingdale loses one game,
Yeah.
right, which could be Saturday, is that Maritime game at Farmingdale or Farmingdale?
Maritime game at Farmingdale.
Okay. So if Farmingdale loses one game, Yeshiva pretty much controls its own destiny for first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, no matter what.
Because you play Sarah Lawrence again.
Yeah, so YU controls their own destiny for the division, but right now they don't control their own destiny for the 1 seed unless Farmingdale loses.
They do if Farmingdale loses one.
Yeah, if Farmingdale loses one, then
because they only play each other once.
See, that's why I prefaced it with a big if they lose.
Yeah,
see,
I understand.
Listen to me. I really am an expert on where my sentences are.
I was pointing out the difference between when you say the one, meaning the conference versus the division.
I meant the conference.
Yeah.
See, I don't think in division. I think in conference division.
I know. But
well, you're a nerd, so you think in division. I'm kind of thinking, I want to win the league. You know what I mean? So now, how much of a difference that makes with this group, I don't know. I don't know if playing at home makes a difference to them. But I think, they say good defense travels, but good offense that gets you great shots usually doesn't always, okay? But it usually travels in basketball. Like if you're getting shots at the rim and then the post, and there are not a lot of teams. I think in Division III there are more teams that do it, but there's not a lot of teams anymore in basketball that live through the post.
Mm-hmm.
Team last night surely didn't. And I do think the pendulum is swinging back. I see a lot of it has to do with Danny Hurley in Connecticut. So being that most coaches are lazy and they're copycat leagues and all that stuff, they just, Danny's winning with it, I'm going to go win with it. You know what I mean? So I saw a thing once. I sent it to LA and I got a video somebody sent me about, maybe I saw it myself, about the the five most run sets of Connecticut the last 2 years. And none of them had a ball screen in them. And I kind of laughed and sent it to Elliot. What the hell do we know? like, what does he know? What does Danny Hurley know? The whole world's ball screen. And what the hell is he doing trying to win without it? And the 5 sets he's run the most in the last 2 years has come without the ball screen. And I think you see the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, there's stuff going on. Are they called the Grizzlies still?
Yeah.
Okay. There's stuff going on. I guess they used to be in Vancouver, right?
Right. They were in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's stuff going on, and I see it in Europe a little bit here, like here in Israel. Most people don't, but there are some teams that are going away from the ball screen. So let's take that team last night. Okay. They run a pack line. They're used to dribble drive. Everybody dribbles against, everybody dribbling too much because of the ball screen. That's perfect for them. It's like it was perfect for Virginia. Like when you played Virginia and you ran this kind of stuff, you were made for that. So that defense is made to stop you. Now all of a sudden you get one that doesn't use a dribble, that's moving and forcing long closeouts, so you get them out of their gaps. Because they're a heavy gap defense. And now all of a sudden, they're not really sure how to guard it because they don't see it. What was the record? I checked it last night. I think they were 13-6 and now 13-7.
Yeah,
They played 20 games. I think it's fair to say that 19 of them have been against ball screen teams.
Yeah, 14-8.
Safe bet. Right, 14-8?
They lost last night.
Who?
We're talking about West Virginia?
Oh.
I was on Marathon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or stay in this conversation.
Sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
They were 9-1 in the league coming into last night, and I would bet
9-2, right? So,
yeah.
but I think they're 13-7 now.
Yeah, they were 4-5 in the non-conference, so that makes sense.
Right. So I'm saying they were used to playing ball screen, and now you get one here, and it's a young staff, and they haven't really, all they know is from what they learned. You know what I mean? For whoever they played for, and if that's somebody within the last 15 years, they're running ball screen. And here comes this yeshiva thing where nobody's really setting them except when we get a little lazy and stuff.
I would say though, Maritime last year was running some motion stuff. Still kind of ball screen centric, but
yeah,
some
it was
motion.
ball screen centric.
Yeah.
Or they were mediocre. So this team's supposed to be better, and they are good. They are better. But what happens when it's like what happened with Penn State Harrisburg years ago. You don't see this ball screen thing. So what do? How do I play in the gaps? They're not dribbling like everybody else in the world. And I think that's what happened to those guys last night. And the coaching staff got lost in, young coaching staffs do this. They just get lost on things that are irrelevant. Like everything.
They have 3 graduate students, no seniors.
Maritime?
Yeah.
I mean, graduate students like a senior. And not like they're going to be back next year, Oren.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So we always talk about like a big win coming at a big point in the season. Could last night's win against Maritime, could that be the pivot point, or you're not ready to make that assessment yet?
I'm ready to make it because you don't know, like this team's quite the Jekyll and Hyde group.
Uh-huh.
If Orr continues to play at the level he's playing at, and I don't mean scoring. Him scoring's irrelevant. Defends, he rebounds, he passes the ball. If he just stays focused and stop and just keeps ignoring the noise that's around him, like whoever's in his head was destroying it. Like just leave him alone, let him play basketball. Because every time he takes the floor, He's the most talented player on the floor. So then the question is, do you want to be that guy? You want to be somebody else? I like the guy who wants to be that guy because when he's right, he's great. So, I mean, I do think Effie improved over the last few weeks. Don't know why, but maybe because he's starting to run what we run. There's other guys that are not really doing that, and they're now struggling. Because when the offense, when everybody's running it, it's easy to find out who's not. And those guys struggle. We've had that before, but this last 3 or 4 games, they've actually been almost a pleasure to watch offensively. So the one blip on the screen being Farmingdale, and really couldn't have picked a worse day to stink. But whatever, you get a chance. If you win, you get a chance to get them again at your place. So that's what you want. I mean, if Maritime turns around and wins on Saturday, then it changes everything.
Right.
And she was got to go to St. Lawrence.
So what are you looking for from this team in this final stretch before the Skyline playoffs?
I mean, I think this February, I think they're getting better in February.
Right. And this is the point where you need to start playing even though it's not March yet, you need to start playing like
I think you do have to play like it's one and done right now. Like
right.
just we're going to win every game here. We got to win every. And for YU, that is the case. Because if you want to win the regular season of the conference, you have to keep winning. If you want a higher seed in the playoffs, you got to keep winning. Like you just got to keep winning now. There are no out of conference games left. So you just have to win your league. That's all you have to do in Division III. It's really all you have to do anywhere, but you have to win your league and I mean, whoever's in front of you is in front of you. You don't recruit every team. So if they do a bad job recruiting, or sometimes the league is great and sometimes it's not so great.
Right.
I'll reserve judgment on this right now.
So to stay on the subject of college basketball, someone who's been having quite a lot of success right now is someone who actually appeared as a guest on this show in an earlier season, Bruce Pearl. He is now coaching the number 1 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. I think I saw somewhere online that he recently had his big event hosting various Jewish high schools around the country. What are your thoughts on this year's team that he has? Do you think he has what it takes to take this team to a national championship this year?
I haven't really gotten a chance to watch him but one time, and it wasn't for long. I can just tell you that Bruce didn't think so because he came to visit our our team on a Zoom, and he thought they'd be pretty competitive, but he wasn't. He said he's had better teams at Auburn. Obviously, this one seems to be pretty good because they've been number 1 for a bit, right? A few weeks now, right?
Yeah, I think they officially cemented it when they beat Tennessee. Maybe Pop can correct me.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm Bruce. I'm a little wary of Duke right now, just because that one kid's he's a pro.
Cooper Flag.
Yeah, that's their one loss.
Who is
Auburn's one loss? They lost to
Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
According to Pop.
When was that? Was that early in the year, the SEC challenge or something?
That's
SEC ACC challenge.
Early December.
I mean, and they've won since, right?
Yeah, they haven't lost since.
Yeah, so I mean, it's awesome for me. It's awesome for our guys because they follow him and they follow Duke because Coach Shire was on our Zoom, and we've had really good coaches visit our guys, and
Jews make the best coaches, huh?
What's that?
Twos make the best coaches.
I do know when Coach Pearl came on, or maybe it was a text he sent me. He sent me a text that said something like that: the top 5 college teams, 3 out of the top 5 college teams in the country coached by Jewish men,
Hmm.
which was, I think, is Florida one? It was Florida one of them at the time.
Maybe.
Todd Golden and Bruce and John Shire. So he sent it to me, and then he said, "Stay safe." I'm like, dude, I'm in Jerusalem. We're good, you know. But told him I was proud of him, and our guys are actually rooting for him and watching him. He really like what's great about Bruce is I'm not even sure, as people who do watch that podcast know, I'm not even sure we agree on, I don't know, 90%. We agree on the philosophy. In other words,
Right. But I
we
think
agree,
but I
on
think,
ball pressure.
yeah, but I think one example of you guys being very similar is, and correct me if you disagree, is your authenticity.
Yeah, keep going.
You know, like
Yeah, we don't mess with what you see is what you get kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, Bruce is like that. And, but see, what I believe is that kids know that. Like kids can tell if you're full of crap or not. I was, I was talking to somebody at work, and she had said to me, she said, it was actually my boss, and she said, I played ball, and I knew coaches, I had coaches like you, and I knew that they cared about me, you know, and I think Bruce cares about all his players. That's why he's able to. Yeah. Also, I would say Danny Hurley too. I mean, they always put cameras on him, and he's complaining that they always follow him and stuff like that. But he's love to have him on as a guest. We got to do that.
Yeah.
But
I guess after April.
yeah, but he guys like that, their players know they care. So you're right. It's probably there's an authenticity thing there. We also agree on ball pressure. We also agree on we don't necessarily agree on reversing the basketball or forcing long closeouts. Um, so my point on that was, you know, there's different ways to skin the cat, you know, and some guys do it this way and some guys do it that way. But the bottom line is you can win this way and you can win that way. It's really about relationships with your players.
Mm-hmm.
They have to believe in you. They have to trust you. You have to trust them. That's where Bruce is really good at it. I mean, and John Shire's really good at it too. You know, they kind of trust their players, and their players trust them, and that's when you have success like this. So
Right.
I don't. I mean, good for him. You know, I'm really happy for him. I besides the fact that was a guest on our show, but you know, the coaches on our show been pretty successful, huh, Pop? Didn't that one guy win a national championship last year?
Brooks
Huh?
Miller.
What's that?
Yeah, Brooks won the national championship last
Yeah,
year.
and then the other guy win the year before that, right?
Who's the other guy?
Josh, the guy from Salisbury.
Well, you remember him when he was at Salisbury. Now he's at Randolph-Macon.
Exactly.
Yeah, he won before we had him on.
That's right. No, I know that. But I'm saying
Well, I mean by that,
the guys that we've had since have been pretty.
and then we had Davenport who had won
Yeah, yeah. So but the cool part is, like, it's funny because when we had Coach Miller on, there was a lot of similarities in what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and he made adjustments to what they do, you know. And we had Bruce on, and then Coach Pearl, we kind of disagreed on a few things, and that was cool. I love watching them coach. I love how hard his teams play. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of guys in the country that get their guys to play harder than Bruce does. So, I mean, effort's half the battle, guys. You don't need any talent. Effort doesn't require talent, just requires effort. I think kids don't get that. So it's not a coincidence that he's winning. He wins everywhere he goes, and there's a reason why. Like, there's no coincidence St. John's, aren't they winning right now?
Yeah, they're playing very well right now with Rick.
Who coaches them?
Rick Pitino.
That's correct. Who wins everywhere he goes. So there's some things that you just know they're going to win where they go there,
Yeah.
So more power to him. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. We wish we wish Bruce the best of luck
Sure.
March time. So it's no hidden secret on the show that a lot of our viewers, no, all of our viewers know how much you hate the NBA.
Me? Yeah, okay.
But I feel like we do have to talk about it. The NBA has been capturing the headlines a lot these last few days with these massive trade blockbusters. Do you think that's helping the reputation of the NBA or just damaging it more?
Okay, look. I don't remember where I was. I think I was on a train. I think I was on a train when that trade on Saturday night happened. I was going to work in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, and Donnie sent a text to his brother. My son Donnie sent a text to his brothers that said Luka Doncic sent some post where he was traded, but they all thought he was joking, about the Doncic trade. But my response was, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? Like, who really cares? Yeah, more people. Listen, more people know that the Indiana, whatever their name is, changed their roster for Caitlin Clark, around Caitlin Clark, than Luka Doncic was traded. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Okay, straight up, it's the most talented players in the world, and it's a maddeningly boring ass league. It's just now. That's why I like Memphis, because they're bringing some basketball back to the NBA. Instead of it being like a 3-point shooting contest, which Memphis does shoot some threes, but they're doing it through movement, ball movement, player movement equals buckets. That's never going to change. Now it's dribble, 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 maybe get you a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, there's, I don't know, some teams taking 54 threes one night, other teams taking 45. It's like stupid. Jimmy Butler. I mean, the whole thing's kind of like a joke. Did Durant get traded today or what?
Jimmy Butler got traded last night.
I know, but Durant's supposed to go somewhere today, or
I think he said he was staying in Phoenix. No,
I don't know. I don't really care.
right?
So if you're asking me if I care about it, no. I'm reading some of these guys that are traded for. I'm like, who? 7-foot center went to the Lakers. Who?
I feel like the trade themselves will give the NBA buzz and excitement, but once these players actually appear for their new teams,
Who's going to watch a game, Warren? They can't draw flies on TV. And they wanted Caitlin Clark to shoot against, I don't know, Steph or something.
right, for the 3-point contest.
It's like, I'm not bailing you out. Your thing's a dumpster fire. Why would I bail you out? Look, I mean, I know Redick took a shot at Barkley because Barkley said nobody watches, nobody can stand watching it. Barkley's right. Yes, they're more talented than players in the past, but only because, they get paid more money. They don't have to do as much. In other words, you don't have to fight through screens today in the NBA, except the ball screen. I mean, you get a little horns action, but there's no hand check. Back then they used to be able to like control you with their arm, because like you could put your hand on the hip. There's no more illegal defense, which was crazy rule that I never got. And look, the NBA is not an innovative league. The players can defend it all they want, but everything they really got that's creative, even a guy from Memphis, I don't know if he stole that from what he's running from Europe, or one of European coaches stole it from America from the 1980s or 70s. You know, but the NBA's never innovated anything. Crack your ass on the baseline. That's what the NBA says, or call it a nail. The nail on the free throw line. Or
Right.
what have they really done? The 1-3-1. I mean, the 20% clock, I believe, is Claire B, who first brought it up. 1-3-1's Claire B. The triangle is Tex Winter from college. Your basic everyday motion offense right now is really a growth of the either Dean Smith passing game or Bob Knight motion. Even dribble drive is coming from innovation on the lower levels. So what has the NBA actually innovated except ruin the game? Like they innovated resetting the shot clock to 14. That's your innovation? Like what? Like what is the NBA innovated? That's why it's to me, that's why it's such a crappy league, because there's no innovation. I remember Reddick, somebody was on his podcast, and he was talking mess about, college coaches like Bill Self who continue to do the same plays from 1980. What are you doing? You're running effing ball screen, dude. That's a 1960s move. The only difference was they did it once in a while. It was a screen and roll or something. And everybody acts like, oh, well, look how smart this is. We stand our guy in the corner with a thumb up his ass so the ball finally gets to him and then he can shoot it. And then we get some big 7-footer who can't shoot, stands out there, acts like he can shoot. They've taken post play out of the game. They made the whole thing a 3-point shooting contest, which is not fun to watch. Oh, guys dunk and they do all that, and that's great for that guy who spends $500 on his luxury seat every night for his business, or $1,500 for his booth, his box. But like for somebody who understands basketball, it's almost intolerable to watch it. It's such crap. And the only people I think who really still care about it are the NBA, are Israelis and Orthodox Jews in New York, in particular the Syrian community, and I don't know, brothers in the inner city. Like what? Like I just don't know who watches this. You don't get anybody watching. Like they're losing to like women's golf. What? Like what? I don't know, Pete. I guess there are people who like it. Like they talk about it here. Then people come up to me, start talking to me about the NBA. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I know more about Israeli basketball right now than do the NBA. I care more about it, and honestly, it's. I'm not even going to talk about that. Like the NBA sucks. It's just, and I know that guys like Bruce and John, their players are going to go play in a league, and that's great for the player because I'm happy for the player. He gets to go. Like if you played for those two guys, okay, you get to go up to the NBA, make a lot of money, and dummy down everything you've ever learned so you can play professional basketball in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dummy it down. If you go to G League, you got to dummy. If you went to a college where they actually taught you how to play, you got to dummy it down to go play for some place like that. Because it's just basic my shot basketball. It's my shot, my turn. It's not tolerable. So to answer your question, which I think was, will they get a shot in the arm for it? No one's going to give a half a crap. Like, let's see what the ratings look like because Andrew Wiggins was traded for Jimmy Butler.
Well, it could start tonight. I think the Warriors play the Lakers.
Okay. Who cares? I mean, people might turn in to see Doncic. The problem is he doesn't play. Like, when's the last time he plays? Is he playing tonight? No. Right? Isn't he hurt?
I think so.
So I guess it's an all-out assault on Mrs. Edelman. I don't know, Adelson.
Adelson.
But here's the thing. Think about this for a second. I think I heard Whitehurst say this. Doncic is 25 or 26 years old. They can sign him to one of those big fat, whatever they call supermax contracts for like a decade. And the Mavericks didn't want to sign him to that.
Right.
Like one of the great stars of the game. Now, who knows you better than the team you're playing for? And the question is, what do they know that the Lakers don't? Because, I mean, you have, a guy who's going to be in your team for 15 years. He's going to be a perennial all-star, could be the best player in the NBA. And you wouldn't sign him to a long-term deal for a reason. Not because he ain't bringing people in there. And she's building a casino next to that new facility anyway, so, she don't care. She's going to get people coming to her games just because they want to gamble. Like, what does that tell you about Doncic? And what does that tell you about how Lakers feel about LeBron James? If they just traded Dalton Connect, which I couldn't believe they did that, and they traded Anthony Davis out, what a dumpster fire that league is. I'm sorry. Like, when I read about the NBA, I bet you could guess what room I'm in when I read it. Pop, you figured it out yet? That's what I do when I read about the NBA.
When Oren asked me if we should add the trade to the agenda, I said that you won't care.
So is that prediction correct, Pop? It's dumpster fire shit. It's like who watches that? Like I try to watch it. Like I really try because they put Denny on here every once in a while. I try to watch it. I'm like, who? Miss jumper from three. Miss jumper from three, turnover, miss jumper from three, made jumper from three, made jumper from three, miss jumper from three, dribble penetration, turnover, dribble, 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 foul. Who watches that? Who likes that? I mean, we have to have the Syrian Jews on here. They'll tell us because they seem to like it. But I don't get it. You can explain to me. What's so great about it, Pop? Like, if you guys have something about it that I'm missing.
I don't watch it. I don't know. My kids sometimes ask me about the NBA, so I don't know what you're talking about.
He coaches Syrians.
I coach this.
I'm saying like it. My guys on my basketball team have like a basketball fantasy league, like amongst themselves. I'm like, who's the idiot that drafted Jimmy Butler? One guy goes, I drafted him in like 3 different leagues. I'm like, I probably couldn't get through the second round with guys that I know in that league right now. And by the way, I went for years winning almost every single league I was ever in basketball. And I did it for the hell of it because I knew how to build a basketball team the correct way, even in fantasy basketball. So I'd always win. And then at some point, I'm like, this stuff sucks. Wasn't even that guard in Indiana? Scored a lot when he came out of college.
Or from Indiana.
Oh, for the Pacers.
Oh,
last year got drafted, maybe 2 years ago. Was the start? Maybe his name started with an M or something. Already been traded. Whatever. That's when I'm like, I don't know who the hell this guy is. I'm out.
McConnell?
No. He's an actual player.
TJ McConnell?
No, it's McConnell. I know McConnell. No, wasn't it?
He's still on.
Who cares? I want to my
podcast. It's the NBA.
Sucks. So that's my response. The NBA sucks. Good luck. If you have problems sleeping, turn on the NBA.
So we're in February, as you mentioned before, and this is kind of the month where you start paying attention to seniors in particular, both at the high school and the college level. We talked about college, but in terms of high school, what's the piece of advice you would give to seniors right now as they prepare for their respective playoff runs? Have Sarachek at the end of March.
Well, personally, I think kids forget that it's about the we, and the teams that put we in front of me usually win in this month in March. The guys who share the ball. I mean, I have to kind of bracket that, because sharing the ball today is not what sharing the ball 15 years ago was. Like throwing the extra pass on the break, or giving up a good shot for a great shot. Nobody understands that anymore, because they get that first open look and they're like, yeah, I got it, I'm gonna shoot it. So they don't understand, if you get it on the first pass, they're going to give it to you on the 10th pass. And sometimes it's on purpose. Have I ever told you that Kevin O'Neill story? I heard this from Kevin O'Neill. He was coaching William Gates. You guys know who William Gates is?
Yeah,
In the movie Hoop Dreams?
sure.
Hoop Dreams, right? The guy who hurts his foot, who gets hurt, the knee injury. So he ends up going to Marquette. So Kevin O'Neill is his coach at Marquette. And I think it's his senior year, and they're playing Cincinnati, I believe, still in the NCAA tournament. And it's the first 4 minutes of the game, and Gates, they're leaving him wide open from three, and he won't shoot it. So the 4-minute time, 16-minute timeout comes up. He comes to the bench, and he says to O'Neill, like, Coach, they're leaving me wide open from three. Can I pull that? He wraps his arm around his shoulder. He points down the other end of the floor. He goes, you see that guy down there? That guy's name is Bob Huggins. They pay him over $1 million to make basketball decisions. Now, do you think he's leaving you open on purpose or by accident? $1 million. He said he was shooting 18% on the year. So Huggins like, dude, shoot whatever you want, And that's sort of the message to us seniors. I know it's your last year and all that, but the only people who are going to remember your 16-point game against so-and-so in double overtime and your 41-42, your 42-41 huge victory at, Fresh, is going to be mom, dad, and the girl you thought you were going to marry in high school that broke up with you right after you graduated. And you. And your participation trophy. So like no one cares about that. But what does last is relationships you have with your teammates, your coaches, and opposing players, I guess, although not all up into that. But like your teammates and your coaches, you need to enjoy the moment. If you're a recruitable athlete, you need to stop listening to your trainers, because most of your trainers don't know what they're talking about. And I know every trainer is going to be like, oh, big mouth, I'm just telling you that, like, people overpay for people to teach you how to over dribble, how to not make good decisions. Like, here's the problem with trainers 9 times out of 10. And by the way, there's great ones out there, basketball guys who are former head coaches, who know what they're doing, and they know how to get to that guy and make him better. And then you got some schmuck who graduated some college, and then just put a shingle out, charges $50 and come to the JCC and I'll give you some lessons. And he just steal money from parents. Dribble, 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 dribble. He don't teach you how to make good decisions. He don't teach you how to cut off a screen. He don't teach you how to down screen, how to cross screen, how to come off on a curl, how to run a fade. He don't do none of that. Then you get to a game and you pull out your 12 dribble 2-foot movement, 40 move maneuver that you learned at Yuccaplatz camp that might, I don't know. I'll stop. I'll stop it. And you got all these moves, and you go 3 feet. And defenders kind of sitting here going, "Hey, dude, whenever you make up your mind, I'll be ready to move out the way." Like, dude, I'm just gonna stand here and watch you make a fool out yourself. So you end up paying a trainer to have you dribble through cones, which of course are stationary, and then show you a combination between the legs, round and back between the legs, cross, back between the legs, cross, 2 feet. You move 2 feet. Once I had a player who played at YU. I think we counted one possession where he had 14 dribbles and he never left the top of the key. But he had to move, he had the whole, we never left the top of the key area. So where you going? Like, there's a great video of Kobe Bryant. I probably have it somewhere where he's talking about, your parents are paying for trainers. You got you 2 dribbling. You don't dribble 2 balls at the same time. So you got you picking up a cone, or you got all that stuff. He said, but they ain't teaching you how to get off that screen. They don't teach you how to get open. He said, if you're using more than 2 dribbles to get a shot off, you're wasting your dribbles. You don't know how to play. It's something like that. Kobe goes through it. Steph Curry talked about it. Tracy Murray went nuts on trainers and AAU coaches because he's like, you don't teach them how to play, whatever it was. And so then what coaches do now, what these trainers do now, is just teach them about the ball. Here's how you come off that ball screen. So all the kids know how to do is do that. And they teach them how to dribble. So when they catch the ball on the wing, they don't reverse it back. They don't throw the next one to the corner. They just got their dribble drive that they learned at camp. Boom, 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 pull up, jump shot, fade away. Post guy standing there wide open. See his numbers. Doesn't throw it because he's too busy dribbling. That's why I'm adverse to training. I love trainers who were head coaches. But if you weren't a head coach and you never had to make the decision, I ain't even hearing it. Yeah, you're just not talking from the experience of the person he has to play for. Yeah, I coached in, AAU, or you're not, AAU, they don't fire you if you lose. You just don't get your money to put your team back together.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in college, they're firing you.
Right.
So if I'm a high school senior, and these are my last, the last 2 months, I'll tell you exactly what I told her about YU when I spoke to her. What kind of player you want to be remembered as? Who do you want to be in a decade from now? Do you want to apologize for your behavior in 5 years from now, how you behaved at the Sarachek tournament? Or do you want to be proud of your behavior at the Sarachek tournament, even though your team never won a game? That's really what that is. I mean, of course, if you're a recruitable athlete, get in the gym, stop playing pickup, get to work. Pickup screws your game up. It's okay to play pickup, when the season's over and, you've put in 4 days of work, go play pickup for a day. It's better competition. Don't do it at the JCC where you're kicking everybody's ass. Go down the park and get your ass kicked. But if you're not a recruitable athlete, and I must be honest, there's not a lot of them out there. So if you're not a recruitable athlete, enjoy the moment. Stop trying to, be selfish. Play for each other, not with each other. And then cherish it, because I don't think none of these kids understand how quickly this goes. Because I'm guaranteeing you that every senior who goes to Sarachek tournament this year is not going to believe he's graduating high school now. Can't believe how fast it went. Because it's going to go It's like, I don't know, say you were a chess champion and your senior year came up and you can't believe how quickly your career as a chess champion ended. You know what I mean? You understand that, right, Pop?
Who said it ended?
You understand, like that, it's the best time of your life that you're never going to get back. And almost every kid will not play college basketball. Enjoy every moment. It's your last run here. Play hard. Be remembered as the guy who picked up his opponent, not one who knocked him down and then talked nonsense or, see, I'm saying this right, danced on a logo, whatever the hell that was. Like, talk junk to the opposing team. Like, dude, shut up and play, man. They're just going to remember you as a jerk. That's what you're going to get remembered as. Or do you want to be remembered as, man, that guy played the right way? Wasn't all that talented, but he got as much as he could out of his ability. Fun to watch. Oh, I remember you. You were great. As Shane Battier said, you know, I played on a bunch of championship teams and no one ever asked me how many points I scored. They always said, did you play on that team that won? And I said, yeah, I did. That's what you should be doing in your senior year. That's how you should approach it. And if you're not, and if your coaches are telling you different, sorry you had to experience that nonsense for 4 years. That's it. That would be my advice. Probably different than what you thought I would say, but
No, definitely a great closing message. But we can't let you sign off before giving us your Super Bowl prediction on Sunday. What are you thinking? Are you
okay.
staying up? Is the fix
Well,
into Taylor Swift?
one, I can almost guarantee you I'm not staying up. What is it, 6:30?
Yeah, so that means 1:30 a.m. for you.
Hell no. And I practice at 8:30 in the morning. So the answer would be no. Two, my son's a rabbi in Michigan, who used to be the rabbi in Kansas, who absolutely thinks the Chiefs are winning for the third time in a row. There, look, here's what I think. I think when I watch the Eagles, every time I watch the Eagles, I yell at the Giants. You are the stupidest franchise of all time. And by the way,
Okay, on second thought, we're gonna sign off now. Thank you so much.
This guy's shown he'll get another GM job because that's how stupid some franchises are. You paid Daniel Jones, who's no longer on your roster, and you let the best player in the NFL walk, not named Patrick Mahomes, walk. And all he did was follow it up with 2,000 yards. You picked him early in the draft for a reason. How could you let him walk when he friggin' told you he wanted to be there? You are a Kentucky Fried idiot. There's a reason organizations are crappy. Knowing that, but your owner walks in the office and says, boy, I would hate if he went to the Eagles. Or something. Like, we can't let him go, and then they let him go. But what? So every time I watch him as a Rams fan, and they did a great job on him until he cooked them for that 60-yarder. So I personally think the Eagles are going to give them all they can handle. And I don't like the way the Chiefs were winning during the year. Like they just kept escaping things, like the missed kick in Denver or whatever. At some point, that catches up to you. I think that point is Sunday. So, I hate the Eagles. I hate the Giants more. I honestly, it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes, but there's something about the Eagles. God, I hate them. Do I have to make this pick?
No, you could just pick Taylor Swift.
You have to make the pick.
Look, here's what I think. I I think everybody in the world thought Matthew Stafford was going to beat the Eagles at the end of the game the other night. 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. In the snow, drove them all the way down again. After driving them down, drove them down again. So F them Eagles, but I'm gonna have to pick the Eagles. I think the Eagles are gonna actually win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
will.
Well, win or lose,
I
the
think the
city's
whole
getting
world
destroyed
thinks
that
Kansas
night.
City's gonna win. What?
Win or lose, the city's getting destroyed that night.
It's pretty much even money on that. I mean, I'm trying not to hedge this, guys, because I'm saying it's the first time.
Be the Chiefs.
I'm not going to watch it, so I don't really care. I can't believe I'm picking against Mahomes, but I think Hurts kind of. I'm going
Right.
Eagles. I can say Saquon Barkley is going to be the MVP of the Super
On his
Bowl.
birthday, no less.
It's his birthday.
He's playing the Super Bowl on his
He's
birthday.
either going to be the MVP or he's going to tear his other ACL.
Well, coach, that gives you the wiggle room again to be right. Whatever happens now, if the Eagles lose now because Saquon tore his ACL.
You're pretty much on top of that. But it's one thing to tear your ACL. It's another thing for somebody to call you're going to tear it and put it in the ether. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I hope he doesn't get hurt.
No, we're clean
Kansas City
broadcast. We
wins.
do not wish
I
ill
hope
will
if Kansas City wins, they legitimately beat them. But for my son's sake, I'd like to see them win, but I'd also like to see them lose to shut him up a little bit. He's been running his mouth for 2-3 straight years, whatever. He said something like Patrick Mahomes is 26-0 in a dome or something like that. Like it's just some stupid stat where everything was working in the guy's favor. I don't know if he was 26-0. He was undefeated in the dome and undefeated with this, undefeated, so he was 26-0 and all that. He's a tough guy to beat, man. They're going to be tough to beat. Can I hedge this? I still think it's going to be the Eagles. I think there's some good Eagles.
I think at this point you've said it's going to be the Eagles enough times that you can't hedge this anymore.
I think there's enough.
He'll figure out a way on the next show, Pop.
I think there's enough choke in the Eagles for me to have some standing.
Just say the Chiefs will win, and then we'll just post whichever clip is right.
I'm gonna go Eagles, but here's the thing. It's like betting against Joe Montana or Tom Brady. Like just like. I don't know.
How about this? This is a surefire thing. Tom Brady
I'm
will
going
not,
Ohio State. What'd you say?
Tom Brady will not announce the game well. You can predict that.
I'm not touching that, dude. I'm not touching that. I just think that when you have so many wins like that, not that you're making plays to win it, but that the other team's not to win it, that eventually catches you, and I think the Eagles are the team to beat them.
All right. No coming back from that.
I hate the Eagles so much. I really do. But, the Rams lose to the eventual champion, who they're, I don't know, 5 inches of snow and 7 seconds away from beating.
Well, the game's in a dome.
I know. I'm just saying the Rams were in the snow and shooting. Yeah. That's it. That's why I'm going with the Eagles. Let's get off of this because
All right, there you have it. Die Eagles die. Thank you so much. That'll wrap it up for this episode of the Harold Katz Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4. Hope everyone enjoys the Super Bowl. Hope everyone enjoys all the basketball madness these next couple of months. And keep it here for further updates for the Harold Katz Podcast. Have a good one.
Look, guys.